Alright, hello, we're back with the Auroran storyline. So let's get right back to it because we are moving pretty quickly through the side mission here to help the Vell-os operatives. And I'd really like to get that done in this video, just because the reward that you get from it takes a couple of months in-game time before you actually get it. So the sooner we do that, the sooner we're in a better situation to have that counter ticking down when we're doing the rest of the Auroran campaign. So hopefully we can use the ship that we get from the end of it. Spoilers. Of course, let's go down to regular speed and blow up this Marauder for fun. It really is so much easier to maneuver in regular speed, but it's a lot harder to play the rest of the game like that. Another Marauder. Do I care? I guess. I don't even have to do anything because that IDA frigate just obliterated it. Okay, so now we get to go into Polaris space. I think the Polaris is going to be the next playthrough that I do. The next playthrough that you're going to be seeing is, as I mentioned in the prior video, probably going to be the Rebel playthrough because I do have it all entirely recorded. But the Polaris is after that. At least that's going to be the most recent one in terms of what I'm going to record. Because when I'm sitting here in self-isolation, what better thing to do than play the campaign about the self-isolationist aliens. Or human relatives, I should say. So, you and your crew are amazed at the response you receive upon entering Polaris space. A flight of fiendish-looking fighters slowly surround your ship. That's a lot of S's. And you are about to call for battle stations when a hailing channel is offered, and an audio-only message instructs you to land on the station. Upon landing, you are met by an elderly gentleman. He is old, but he still has the look of eagles about him. The look of eagles. Okay. I guess he looks hawkish. And you are glad that he wants to talk rather than fight. I am Nilrabiska. Yeah, that's going to be an issue in the Polaris campaign, is that their language is very difficult to pronounce, he says. And you are Wolf? We have reason to believe that you have the Vell-os passengers aboard. Is this correct? You tell him that you are Wolf, Thorokir of Heron House, and that if he wishes to harm your passengers, you will have a fierce battle on his hands. He smiles. Proud arbiter, fear not our blows. An old communicator left by the Vell-os generations ago awoke from its slumber 10 days ago, and told us to expect your ship. We are here to escort you to Kalar I, in the Kalari system, where you will be permitted to land and rest. You have done your passengers a great service, and we will honor you. You gratefully accept his invitation and head to Kalar E. I'm reading that as Kel-R-I-Y. It could be L-Y. I don't know. But I'm going to go with Kalar E. A? I don't know. There really is no basis for the Polaran names. At least with, like, the Federation, it's English. What is it? The Polaris, I believe, are supposed to be Welsh. The Aurorans, it's a little bit more difficult, but, you know, Klingon, kind of. But the Polaris are just so alien in their names that it's a bit difficult. Which I suppose adds to the effect of they're this mysterious alien species. Although, as I said earlier, they're not actually aliens. They're, you know, an offshoot of humans who decide to isolate themselves from the Federation. We'll get into all that. But they have these great ships, and they're technologically insane. You're simply amazed by all that you see while in the Polaris port. The technology therein astounds you, and you realize just how empty your threats of combat would have been to these people. They are strangely aloof towards you, but they seem to treat you with a quite heartfelt respect. You soon discover that their repair crews are quite amazing, and within a few hours your ship is soon fully repaired, and if anything, restored to newness by these skilled technicians. You are bidden a sad farewell by Lanwin, who, in leaving, hands you a data cube, telling you the information within will be of great interest to your technicians and scientists. She kisses you softly on your scarred cheeks and begins to walk away. You call to her, wishing her luck in her battle with the Federation. She turns and tells you that the Vell-os will never forget your place in their history, nor the bravery and sacrifices of your crew. With a lump in your throat, you turn and board your beloved Abomination's monster and set course for home. Alright, there we go. That is more or less the completion of that storyline. Now we just have to start the 2-month timer for our reward. And as you see, these are destroyed hypergates. At one point, this was connected to the hypergate system, but no longer. And sadly, there is no way in-game to repair those. Someone did make a mod, or it is called in EV Nova parlance, a plugin, which does repair all the hypergates that have been destroyed. It makes it really easy. I would not actually recommend using that plugin, just because it's kind of dumb. I'm not a fan. I respect anyone who wants to use that and thinks that that's interesting, and by all means go ahead. But if you're dealing with the isolationist aliens off in the galactic east that no one has had contact with in untold generations, then maybe don't connect them to the big trade shipping route that Sigma Shipyards uses every day. But that's just me. You can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want with your game. This Marauder is going to learn why, marauding in Polaris space is a terrible idea. Gonna touch down here. You can buy maps. I know where all the important systems are in Polaris space already, so it's not really of particular interest to me to buy maps. We're just gonna go back to Cania, because that's probably the easiest place to go to get to the Hypergate system. I could go down to Tekkel, but there's not really much of a reason to, unless I was particularly concerned about re-entering Federation space. I'm not. So we're just gonna go ahead and do that. And after we turn this in and get that timer started, we'll go back to scouting out the border. Thankfully, it doesn't have a time limitation on it. I do kind of wonder if you take more than 2 months in that little side mission, does your ship just explode from the prisoner's chest cavity bombs? Might be fun to test. When you land, you hand over the data cube to one of the gathered scientists. This will make for huge advances in technology, she explains excitedly. It will take some time to analyze and be put to use, but you'll be the first to hear of it. With that, they quickly scurry away and begin looking at the data, and you grin and shake your head at their excitement. Ha ha ha. Warriors have no use for such excitement. Now, here's an interesting thing about this version of the game, which is, I believe, one patch before the final release for the Windows version. I can't select the Auroran cruiser. I can't buy it. I can't select it. Don't ask me to. It crashes the game. So I'm glad it's on a terrible ship, because otherwise I'd be sad if I can't buy like my Starbridge. But I don't know why that is. I think that's very odd. Figured I should point it out. So if you're going to play this and you have the Windows version of the game, known issue. At least known by me. So there you go. So I think we want to go to Urin, or Unin. I don't know why I read that as an R. I think that's the system we want to land in. Just a bunch of Federation ships in this system. So far, so normal. We got some Heron ships here. Do I need to fly over them? Hello, fellow Hirani warrior. Let's hail them. Hello. So, you hail from the Federation. What is it you want? I am the thorough cure of your house. What are you talking about? You ridiculous, ridiculous warrior. You have seen enough. Every crucial border post is being manned by predominantly Hirani vessels. Without a second thought, he tells you to head for Aurora. But you tell him that you must use the trap for the Moashi. You must use the trap the Moashi are setting against them. You will call for him when needed. He tells you that time is of the essence, and that he will make his own way back to Rimerta. You, on the other hand, head for Heron. Alright, we're going to do exactly that. And due to the wonders of the Hypergate system, we take off from this at September the 21st, and we're going to get there either, the next day or the next 3 days. I forget how slow our ship jumps. Yeah, one day in hyperspace. Pretty good if you ask me. You'd think that, as the thorough cure of the Heron house, I could just give everyone else the access code to the hypergates, but whatever. So as soon as you land, you decide to head to the bar. That's pretty standard. No sooner have you touched down than there is a commotion on the flight deck. You barely have time to disembark before a Dechikar's messenger steps forward and delivers you a data chip. You quickly load it into your wrist comp and read the contents of the communique. You gasp as you read. House Moash has accused the Hurani of neglecting their duty to the Auroran Empire by not providing enough troops and vessels to man the Federation border. You allow the rage to build inside you as you read further. They also accuse House Heron of being in league with the Federation, and of using their influence with the mortal enemies of the Auroran Empire to destroy the other 4 houses in preparation for seizing the Empire. The audacity of the Moashi amazes you. They have accused House Hurani, or House Heron, of the actions that they themselves have undertaken. The communique demands that you travel to Aurora and speak on behalf of House Heron. You stalk back to your ship and quickly send a message to Hune, asking him to meet you on Aurora as soon as possible. So it's all coming to a head. You decide that the best plan is to arrive on Aurora and deny the accusations. The Moashi will have discredited you with the delegates of the other houses, so you'll become the focus of their anger. It is only by turning the Moashi into believing that you have no defense that you'll be able to crush them. I guess it's kind of a lull them into a false sense of security kind of thing. You are reminded of an ancient battle technique called the hammer and anvil. Hune's information will be the hammer, and your presence will be the anvil. Luring the Moashi into a position to be struck will not be easy, waiting for Hune to arrive, but you know you must. For the fate of the House Heron may well hang in the balance. You set off for Aurora. Okay, so this is where the inner house squabbling comes to a head, the exciting conclusion. I'm actually going to forego using the hypergate system for the moment and jump there instead. The reasons for which being is we kind of want to pass 2 months in in-game time as quickly as possible. So, just going to jump everywhere for a little bit, which will take a minute, give me time to ramble on a bit. Hope everyone out there is staying safe and healthy. This is being recorded. I don't know when it's going to be published, but it's going to be recorded during the COVID-19 epidemic, so I'm self-distancing at home. But it gives me a chance to record and play Eevee Nova, and I can't complain much about that. And, I was going to go fishing today, but it's raining outside anyway. So this will just have to suffice. Alright, so we gotta pal around for a bit and wait for recharge, or we can just ask assistance from this Auroran. And, because we are a noble man, we don't even have to pay. And that's pretty standard for the game. If you ask assistance of people in your faction, they usually don't charge you for it. The exception being, I think, the Federation. They'll just charge you for anything. Let's get a map here, because I just noticed I don't have this area of space fully mapped out. Could get another disabling turret. I don't feel so inclined, but good to keep in mind. Alright, gonna get ready for a lot of reading. One unfortunate part about this game, I'm being attacked in the system by, of course, the Moash, is that it runs best in a window, and the window is pretty small, and the game on Windows is already kind of known for having a really hard to read font in the data blurbs or the text blurbs. I can't remember. I think it used to be worse. I think I downloaded a plugin. I can't remember, but all those combine to occasionally difficult to read dialogue. I went back actually, and I was watching an old video from the Auroran campaign, just reorient myself after taking something of a break, and I think I misread Kerr as something else, and it was very confusing. All right, so I've messed up insofar as I can't seem to locate the L key by touch, but that's all right. This gives me an excuse to blow up more Moash ships. Yeah, they sometimes do, is that if they go in and attack you, they then flee away and become non-hostile. So it's a trick. Don't let them fool you. They'll just return to being hostile as soon as they're far away, and then... Yeah, if you look at the mini-map there, that's exactly what that one Phoenix is doing. Oops. And as always, it would not be an episode with me accidentally pressing escape trying to tab away from something. That's how you know it's official. But yeah, it's that Phoenix that whenever it gets banged up, it's going non-hostile and running back. I'm tempted to say that's a glitch, but if you know how to do that, that's pretty clever. Although I'd think that what is and is not hostile would be something that my ship would decide. That'd be another nice thing to fix, were I a better plugin author. I've never made anything major for a plugin before. It might be fun to learn. I do have some computer programming background. I can't imagine it's all that difficult. But for the time being, I'm not going to pursue that. Got some other things to do. It's a little more pressing. Alright, so you land and immediately make your way to the Empire's Council Hall. It is immense. You make small prayers to death that you will not be lacking in strength for the trial. Pushing open the huge doors and enter. Shouts of anger and derision hit you like a blow. The Harani delegates are looking particularly harried. You nod in greeting, looking up at their balcony, hoping your presence. See, the text is small. Presence will give them confidence, even though they know that what the Moash is claiming is untrue. They have no evidence with which to defend themselves. Soon that will change. You stride purposefully to the center of the central ring and await recognition. Bakara, the head of the Moashi delegation and chairman of the proceedings, raises his hand. An expectant hush falls over the hall. Brothers and sisters of Aurora, I give you Kar Halarn, Thorkir of House Heron, come to answer the charges laid against the Harani by House Moash. Namely that they are treasonous dogs, and they are the enemy of all that this council stands for. Kar Halarn, how do you answer? You take a deep breath. If your plan is to succeed, there's only one way to place your enemies where you wish. Members of the Great Council, I, Kar Halarn, call upon you an honor debt. The first house is committed the very acts of treason they have charged against House Heron, to destroy their age-old rival once and for all. A roar erupts from the assembly, and shouts of derision wash over you in wave after wave of anger. Once some form of order has been restored, you continue. Delegates of the 5 houses, fellow Thorkir and battle brothers, or brother warriors, hear my offer. I pledge the existence of House Heron as a counterpoint to my debt. I will see that House Heron is dismantled, its wealth and resources distributed to the other houses if I am unable to prove my claims. But I demand a debt of honor of the highest magnitude from all of you. If I can, all I ask is a small amount of time to prepare my case. The councilors and delegates look shocked and amazed by your statements. To refuse is to lose honor. Slowly, they all signal their assent, and you walk from the hall. So we've just put up the entire existence of the house as at stake. You spend tense hours waiting for Hyun to arrive, and have never been so happy to see another person when you see him. You clasp hands warmly and tell Hyun of the day's events. His eyes widen in surprise at the audacity of your plan, but also he realizes that you know what it is at stake, and the Moashi will not be able to contradict the evidence of a Dechtakar, as Rimertons are beyond reproach. You re-enter the hall and take satisfaction at the look which crosses Bakara's face as he sees Hyun behind you. You stand before the assembly and begin the destruction of the Moashi. Brothers and sisters, I told you before that the Moashi were responsible for all the charges laid against House Heron. Now I bring proof. Hyun, son of Lo Wang and battle brother of the entire empire, has come to back my claims that the Harani are not shirking their responsibilities to the Auroran Empire. Quite the reverse. As Hyun will testify, there are more Harani vessels on the border with the Federation than from any other house, and least from House Moash. The Moashi have barely any ships on the border, and yet claim that House Heron are shirking their duty. And where might those Moashi ships be? Perhaps they are meeting with Federation spies, discussing the future of the Moashi Empire. You walk to the projector. I just imagine they've got like an overhead projector just sitting by, and project the stolen documents from the Moash convoy. The documents detailing the increasing Auroran attacks on the wild geese of New Ireland to disrupt relations between the Federation and the Auroran Empire. Many of the warriors present shout in anger, and the delegates from the other houses look to the chairman, enraged at this latest news. Furthermore, did any of you notice that 3 Moashi battle fleets waiting in the system as you approached? Yes, my brothers and sisters, the Moashi have been playing a duplicitous game. Imagine what they have planned for your house, had they been allowed to finish this attack on House Heron. You turn to Hyun, who steps forward and corroborates all that you have said. However, there is a gleam in Bakara's eyes as he looks at you. and you know what the Moashi aren't finished yet. It takes many hours for the council to reach a decision. Finally, with great satisfaction, you watch Baccarat remove the charges against your house. After all this commotion, you decide to head to the bar for some light refreshments. Alright, so they've removed the charges. You'd think that that would be an indictment of their house, and we just have a new trial for them, but that comes later. I forgot about Samantha. So this is a UN shipping mission. You see the slightly apprehensive-looking Samantha when you step into the bar. She looks slightly relieved to see you and waves you over to where she is sitting. I'm glad you dropped by when you did, she tells you with a slightly nervous smile. It's probably been years since we dropped her off here. These Aurorans have agreed to let us conduct a trial run. If we succeed in making it, we can start operations here. If we don't, we'll be expelled from the Empire. Are you willing to take this trial delivery? She asks hesitantly. Sure. Alright. We've seen this mission a million times. Oh, thank you, she stands with relief. The first part of the trial is simply accepting. If you had refused, that would have been it. Anyway, she tells you quickly. We want you to head over to the Gex in the Gex system and pick up 1 ton of sealed packages and deliver to the Auroran Listening Post 6 in the Kanto system by December 12th. Kanto system, that should clue you into that this is Space Japan right there. Another thing, she warns you quietly, if you expect the Aurorans to send a few ships after you, just see if you're good enough to survive, so watch out for yourself out there. When you're finished, return here. Alright, so that's not really why we're here, but yeah, why not? We'll do the UN shipping mission. This does test something I'd wanted to test earlier, where if you are already well established in the Empire, does the dialogue for these missions change? And at present, it seems like the answer is no. Oh, of course we have to go down to that system. One of those dead-end systems. No matter. Hybrid access makes this easy. As with all UN shipping. You're kidding. Oh man, that's embarrassing. Alright, load it up again. Okay, so... Huh. We're just going to loop around and take the hypergate. I think that's the best course of action. You can use the numbers on your number pad to select the various places you can land in a system. The hypergates, being, you access them by landing on them, are included in this, and they always have the abbreviation HG for hypergate, and then the name of the system you're in. Ugh. Gotta loop around again now. Just gonna pick off some of these. Get lost. Got attacked by firebirds. How ridiculous. A few ships. These are a few. Alright. Let's give that a shot now. Get lost. They're fast, but they're weak. I see you coming. What do you think you're doing? And they're using chain guns, which, while terrifying in large numbers and close range, are effectively useless at all other times. It's really only these ships armed with chain guns, or not chain guns, rail guns, that I'm at all concerned about. Alright. Let's get this ridiculous mission over with. Touch down here just to check in with our all-important reward before taking a little trip down to this system. So it should be obvious that at this point in the game, we have absolutely no use for the United Shipping missions. I'm really just doing this because it's going to kill time until we get that reward. And I want to have that reward to use against the Moash in the upcoming mission. So as soon as you land, you head over to the offices of the Dockmaster, and you eventually locate her. It turns out to be a fellow warrior. Oh, it does change. Good, good, good. So this is new. She hands over the packages to be delivered with a respectful nod. You get the feeling that she has not seen too many warriors during her current posting. Neat. I never thought this changed. That is honestly exciting. I love finding little things like that you never thought to look for. So where are we taking this? Probably, yeah, Kanto up in the Vell-os space. Because otherwise it complains about how, yeah, she ushers you into a warehouse and tells you don't talk to anyone in Auroran space because they're not friendly, etc., etc. But nice to see that isn't the case. Nice to see they actually planned for this and made special dialogue. Once again, we're going to touch down here. I don't think that the amount of time we need has passed, because after all, we did finish that other mission in September, and it's only October 13th. But it doesn't hurt to check. Head up to Kanto. Pick up our, package of... or drop off our package of sealed documents. Which, it sounds important, but for whatever reason, bus contracts are the things that you end up dropping off, which is a common thing to have to haul for those 50,000 credit missions. And those always have a pirate ship in the system you have to deliver it into. So it seems like bus contracts are very important. Might be like a mobster reference, I don't know. As soon as you land, you jump out and take your package to the office of the dockmaster. Without a word, the huge warrior with many battle tattoos all over his exposed flesh takes the package off your hands. He nods and turns away and gets back to his work. You recognize a dismissal when you see one and head back to your ship to go meet Samantha on Aurora. Alright, standard. That one is not any different, I don't think. I think that's the same thing. We're going to go up to Corella, just because it's closer, and has a hypergate. Surprisingly, I don't know why the wild geese let us land on all these systems when we haven't entered the Auroran campaign via the wild geese. It makes sense when that's the case, but no, they're just like, yep, they're cool. Apparently, doing this mission has also increased our reputation with Moash enough to allow us to land on their systems. That's a little bit unusual, given the current tenor of Heron-Moash relationships. Even worse than normal. Let's touch down here. Alright, as soon as you enter the establishment, you see the blue-black uniform of Samantha sitting not too far from the door, and you make your way over. "Oh, you did it," she exclaims when she sees you. "I'm so glad." You wave it away, saying it was nothing. It was not, and you know it. Anyway, take me back to Earth. Sorry for just, blitzing through this, but we've done it so many times, and it's not really applicable to what we're trying to do right now. So, yep, take me back to Earth. I'll pay you 50,000 credits. And it just says she doesn't like living in the warrior culture, but I think she says, "I don't like this blasted warrior culture," or something like that, when you are not an Auroran. So that part is interesting, but as far as I can tell, that is probably the only change. Yeah, we're going to want to take the hypergate for this one, otherwise it's going to take entirely too long. It's a good excuse to get up to Seoul, though. Had I been lacking in any Sigma Shipyards upgrades, it'd be a great time to get those. But no. Alright, I'm glad to be back in the Federation, she tells you quite happily. No more hulking warriors treating me like a second-class citizen, and no more negotiations with people who really don't give a damn whether I exist or not. You politely ignore her somewhat ignorant view of the universe. Oh, cool, it's different. Telling yourself that she knows no better than having been brought up in the Federation. "Thank you very much for your help," she says, turning to face you. "Without you, this would have been a complete failure. I've been authorized by the head office to offer you not only the 50,000 credits promised, but a 50,000 credit bonus. Also," she tells you, finally, "if you happen to end up down in the Auroran Empire again and need some cash, there will be United shipping deliveries offered on their mission BBS." So perfect. Man, I really love the fact there's unique dialogue for it. That's just so cool. Anyway, back to our regularly scheduled politicking. Just going to jump down to Heron once again, just to pass that time to get that 2-month ticker going. I suspect we're getting close. Very excited. So, no, we don't want to land on Resolution. We want to land on Heron. Still nothing. Alright, I can be patient. So let's go and get the last part of this trial to fire, and that way I can at least get that out of the way before we end the episode, because we're running up against half an hour here. So, no sooner than you've left the Great Council Hall and done some courier service, than a young Harani warrior rushes up to you. Auroran, he pants, and you get the impression that he has been running for quite a long time. The Moash fleets have left Aurora hours ago, and they appear to be heading into Harani space. Your blood chills, realizing they have failed in their bid to destroy the House Heron politically, so the Moashi have decided to try the old-fashioned force of arms. You rush towards your ship. The house must be warned. Your first communication is with Kuran, who is still overjoyed at your victory at the Auroran Council, but he quickly realizes the plight House Heron is in. With the bulk of its fighting force, of its fighting capacity, on the Federation border, there is little standing in the way of House Moash smashing Heron and killing the heart of the house. Kuran begs you to buy him some time to mount a defense. You tell him that you will try. With three fleets heading into Harani space, the only way to stop them is to have your battle group hold them off while help arrives. It will not be an easy task, as the Moashi will outnumber them many times over. You quickly inform them of the situation, and they swear to hold to the last. Savard tells you what she feels for you, and is proud of your defense of the house. You tell her how much she means to you, and blast off after the Moashi. Your battle group will split and tackle 2 of the 3 fleets, while you will attack the main fleet. The Moashi Mundokir, Merek Ach, who laughs at death, was responsible for the death of Tekrach, the Bloody Hammer. You spend a few minutes gathering intelligence reports, and you can see that the most likely route Mekarak will take goes through Derelic, Vanta, and the Heron Astara system, or Astra. As soon as you've confirmed the ship movement reports, you log off the terminal and head towards your ship. You will have revenge this day. Neat. But revenge will have to wait, because we are at the end of the episode here, so I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you stick around for the next one. Alright, in the meantime, have a good one.